Yo, what's going on, Talk Nice
What's
Nation?
good?
And thank you for checking out today's episode.
Yeah, you know the vibes. Make sure you visit our website, ttmnbrand.com, where
hmm
you'll find all upcoming announcements, our latest clothing drops, and future events.
Yes, sir. And also, for anyone interested in collabs or potential sponsors, hit our email at ttmnbrand@gmail.com.
That's right.
Let's get it.
They've been trying to stop the wave, but the wave don't stop. Whoa. Hey, talk to me nice, show you what these really about. Whoa. Hey, talk to me nice, show you what these really about. Whoa. Hey, talk to me nice, show you what these really about. Whoa.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rob.
And I'm Cristiano.
Man, it feels good to be back. Second episode, new season. You know, just feeling the space out.
Right.
It always feels good coming in here. Shout out to Rec Philly. A lot of creatives in here, putting work together, whether, musicians, photographers, just straight creators, man. It's a great space to be around. And, today's guest,
Speaking of creators,
speaking of, got a very creative person in the building today. Somebody that I'm just meeting for the first time, but he supports the brand, and, you love to see it. What's going on, bro?
Liam,
up?
man. It's Liam, Not Yours Music. It's great to be here, man. Like, thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Man, we appreciate you, man, pulling
Yep.
up, being a part of the season,
My pleasure.
supporting the brand.
Mhm.
Speaking of brand, Not Yours,
Yeah.
some new shit I know that's coming your way.
Very new.
For anybody, before we jump into
Yeah,
that, for anybody, that doesn't, any of my followers or Cristiano's listeners, kind of introduce yourself, where you're from, what you do, things like that.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it a little chronological here because Not Yours is like the most recent thing. But my name's Liam Bergen. I grew up in Delaware County, in Ardmore.
Mhm.
I graduated Bloomsburg University 2018, and since then I've been like just not really sure what I'm doing with my life. Man. Like really just trying everything I can try, and so far nothing's felt completely right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, actually we met like a year ago, maybe a year.
Yeah,
it
about
was
a year ago.
About a year ago in this same building actually for
Yeah,
Philly Fashion Week.
Philly Fashion Week.
Modeling was something that at the time I always thought would be cool to do.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know what it was about it. I was like, it seems easy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just seems like you just kind of like take pictures, whatever. I didn't know
I mean,
anything
it
about
was when we met. I was like, that was my first experience. Like, I always wanted to try it too. That was my first experience, my
Modeling.
first modeling, my
Yeah.
first audition, my first runway.
To me as well. Yeah. That
Oh, it was.
that
See,
like, the
that's
second one I
crazy
did.
because like when I saw you, you carried yourself like you were doing it for a long
Like
time,
a veteran,
like a veteran.
like you've been here before.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
I mean, you were in
experience here.
multiple things, and like I thought you were even telling me some pointers, like, oh, you should go talk to the other designers. You might be able to walk for them too.
That's what it was with that. I think it was just kind of not to say it was unorganized. It was just if you put yourself out there for one of the designers, they kind of were just going to give you the shot to
Right.
walk for them anyways.
Like you knew that, like almost, like
Yeah.
like you
I
picked
was
up
just
on that
chopping it
quick.
up with all of them because I was like, I'm trying to walk for as many of them as I
Mhm.
can. Plus,
Yeah.
I had recently got my head tattooed, and they're all like, "Oh, this dude with his head tattoos, that'd be cool." Like, it made their clothes look cooler or something. I don't know, but it was-
Yeah,
So did you guys like walk for the same designer, or was it like
we did. We walked for the one guy who did the suits.
God
God
was it
Green.
Godwood Green, or something
Godwood
like that.
Green Culture.
I just was
Forgot.
watching that video actually earlier. We were like walking on the street and on the suits.
So yeah, like I remember seeing you for the first time on, I think it was like the second audition or like the first fitting or something. I remember I missed something because I was in Italy, and I came back and I had to go to this thing or else I was going to lose my spot.
Mm.
But that's when I first saw you, and then I think we first talked when we were getting dressed
Mm.
to do that video right in the middle of Market Street.
Those were long days, man. Like they had us sitting there. I think I spent like almost 12 hours a day each day. We did a show, just like sitting
Yeah.
there waiting around for
Yeah.
them to start.
Actually, one of the things that kind of turned me off about it.
Yeah, yeah. Especially because I was like paying for parking around here and like
Yeah.
the whole
shit
entire day.
adds up? Like,
But that video was pretty sick.
It was cool. I was literally just watching it before I came in here. It's funny because
was it the
Time
first?
flies.
Was it the first like Philly Fashion Week here, or has it?
In this gallery because
I
it's the
believe so.
new mall
yeah,
and
it was like
everything.
pretty
Right,
brand
so-
new at that point.
It
You
it
know,
was a
and they
learning
did it
curve.
kind of big. They had little pre-show parties.
It was a really fun experience,
Hollywood was
honestly.
spinning it. Hollywood
I
was
saw
spinning.
that DJ Hollywood. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
It looked like a nice event. It did look like there was a good turnout. A lot of people. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously you were there firsthand. I just saw the videos,
Yeah.
but it was on the news. They had a couple news channels out, right?
Yeah. And I guess they ain't doing it this year, huh?
I don't know.
COVID.
I haven't heard about it. to be
Yeah,
honest.
I think they're not. 'Cause of
COVID.
that.
It was a really good like networking opportunity as well.
So that's how me and Liam met. I mean,
sure.
on the fashion end, like I said, he seems like I even on his Instagram seems like someone who's been doing this for a while, like a vet. So,
chopped into it, man.
So
at
what else?
first.
So what else are you getting into?
So I really was invested in the modeling thing actually because of that. I think that gave me like the little bit of confidence I needed to be like, maybe I should really try to do this 100%. Actually cost me a relationship at that point, and I was like, whatever. So I just pretty much said fuck it and like left my apartment, sold all my stuff, and moved to Jersey City to be closer to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And that must have been in like November of last year.
Mm-hmm.
I did not plan that very well, but I just like went head first, and I was like trying to get all these agencies interested in me. I was going to like 4 days a week, just stop by agencies with my portfolio that I was running around, and I shot with all these Philly photographers and put a portfolio together.
For modeling, right?
Yeah, and it was cool. And then eventually, I shot with a photographer in New York, and they hooked me up with Wilhelmina Sports and Fitness, so I signed with them.
They're pretty big.
Yeah, and I was like stoked about it, man. I really was, not realizing that they have so many people on their roster.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're just instantly booking jobs. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you're put on like a list.
Yeah, I was going to castings like a couple days a week before COVID started, and I booked a couple jobs, and I was like, all right, now maybe the balls start rolling, and then COVID came. Nothing after that. Yeah. It's disheartening, but
it's a hard time. Yeah, it's hard to really judge how that experience, would have went if COVID didn't happen.
Right.
And
First
sometimes you
into it.
got to go head first into things.
I commend you for that.
Thank you. It was literally like I ate, slept, and breathed the shit. Like I was like spend 3 hours a day at the gym, and then I'd go into the city and shoot like 5 days a week. It was like a full-time job without actually like being directly paid from it.
Yeah.
But I won't say I regret doing it at all. I definitely won't say that. It definitely was an interesting experience to be thrown into that culture. Even like the fashion industry there is so like huge.
It's big.
And I personally at the time, I was doing a lot of like male physique stuff, which, I didn't really, at the time I didn't mind it, but it was just like, I almost felt like I was at a point of being over sexualized by all these people in that city, in that industry. And I never thought I'd feel like that. Honest to God, I never thought I'd feel that
Especially
way.
as a male, like
You know what I mean? It was weird. And like, honestly, full circle is one of those things that, thinking back on it, like I think I got a better understanding of how females feel, that like I never would have understood. Like females who are like putting their pictures up or dressing a certain way going out, and then like getting treated a certain type of way because of how they're dressed and how they look. That's drawn in the first place. You shouldn't be that way towards a female,
right?
Ever.
Facts.
But I was feeling it from the other side. It was so strange because I was like talking to some of the few girlfriends that I have. I was like, yo, like, I'm sorry that you probably deal with this shit. I know how it feels, and it's like terrible. You know what I mean? And
I heard a lot of crazy stories of like photographers in the city or in
drawn.
the area who just ask up like a lot of weird shit for models or girls or who are up and coming, and it's like not what they discussed over like messages.
When you're driven and ambitious and you're hustling and you're in the trenches trying to get
you're
out,
just in that mode.
You're just doing what it takes. You know what I mean? And like people take advantage of that. You know, and like that's a shame. Honestly, it is because a lot of the times it's younger male models, younger female models that are like 16, 17, 18, 19. You know what I mean? And I'm luckily I've grown enough. I was 25. So like I kind of opened my eyes to it all, and I was like, nah, this is not it. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been cool to like book a couple campaigns, make some money, take some pictures, but like it's so much deeper than that, and I did not know what I was getting myself into.
And it seems like the market is like so now it's like it seems more oversaturated because you got all this, the social media and like what it gives people the opportunity to do. It's like constantly post like pictures and constantly want to get better pictures done. So there's more photographer on model.
It's exhausting, honestly. Like I was, very consistent with my Instagram. It was actually like you couldn't make it without one. You know what I mean? So I bought into it 100%, and I was posting at certain times every day, reading my analytics, like how many people were on like active during this time of the day, and I'd post, which like it seems like overkill, but it was kind of necessary because, you know, people share your photos and then you bring followers in from shooting with different.
Right.
It's a game you got to play.
It's funny, like we're talking about this because I was recently having a conversation with my mom, and when my mom was younger, you know, before she had me, she was trying to pursue a career in modeling. So she would take a train from Philly to New York. You know, she had a couple headshots, pictures, whatever, and would literally go like agency to agency, try getting connected, dropping them off to people. And I was telling her, I'm like, well, now it's like everybody is essentially their own brand, especially if they put it out there that they, you know, on their Instagram, social media, you know, you could kind of cut the middleman out. I feel like
For sure.
almost like not having to need these agencies to get, you know, discovered or to get, you know, recognition. You could kind of just, you know, whether it's
Right.
linking up with somebody. I mean, everything's network, right? So, how do you feel? I mean, you were on the end of both of it. You were going agency to agency. You know, you have a nice little Instagram.
Like agency is supposed to get you paid, right?
Yeah.
They're supposed to get you paid.
Here's the thing.
Do you feel like you've had success with like?
I've also like, you know, looked into like influencer
Yeah.
type gigs where you just like you're a brand ambassador, or, like you shoot for a certain company. I've done a couple of those.
Mhm.
I think that there's so many people that can do it and that are like in that market to do that.
Mhm.
That like not that it's a waste of time. That just like you really need to be committed to doing that all the time and like reaching out to brands constantly and like I just wasn't doing enough work, but I did like having the agency. I think it was cool because they would submit me for stuff. I think the way that I look isn't really like the standard of like what a lot of the dudes that are working all the time
You're
shooting.
like you're more edgy. You're gonna
Yeah,
be
especially like I don't even think they know I dyed my hair and stuff, but I just won't tell them because it's part of my own stuff that I'm doing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Your
But
own
like
brand.
that would be a problem because my portfolio, I have brown hair the whole
Right.
portfolio. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna badmouth them by any means. I'm just saying personally, in my experience, I haven't really been booked a lot. So maybe I'm with the wrong agency. Nonetheless, I honestly kind of lost that fire I had in me about it. You know, it just became less interesting to me because I think it just didn't feel like fulfilling. You know, like
well, you know what? You went for it. You tried it. You know, things.
Yeah.
I've gone through different things, dude. I've gone through periods where I'm trying all kinds of stuff, dude. You know what I mean? So there's always one thing that keeps calling. I read somewhere that your true like passion in life will not stop calling. So if you feel like it like goes away and it comes back,
Yeah. So you know.
that's when you know. You know what I mean?
love something, let it go. If it comes
Love
back.
something, let it go. Yeah.
Mhm.
Nah, it makes sense. You know, and like honestly, in retrospect, you know, at least I tried. I tried literally 100% my hardest, and you know, if it wasn't meant to work out, something else is. You know, I'm happy that I had the experience, and maybe it didn't go
And honestly,
exactly.
I feel like it's not something that you could look at and say that you didn't have success with. I think it's you still have pieces of content, you still have,
For sure.
you know, a ton of things, a portfolio, you know, a resume that you could
Mhm.
always reflect back to. I mean, obviously, people out there have a certain look for certain things. I see tattoo motherfuckers getting booked a lot for
Yeah.
certain things. I
Yeah.
think today in 2020, you know, stuff like that is less frowned upon. You know, people are more
Yeah.
buying into people and how they are. You know, it depends what you're going for. Honestly, if you're going for like Armani or something, they're probably
Yeah.
gonna take the typical.
Yeah, I actually
You're-
went to an Armani casting.
Did you?
Yeah, they didn't look twice at me. But like they would do 6 dudes at a time, so you'd like all line up and stand there.
Mhm.
We all like were waiting, talking about it, like, yo, we're hype. Stood up there for less than 2 seconds, and he's like, oh, thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
You know, that
Yeah.
was like an hour of my time, but you know, that's just how it goes.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Before we
experience.
get off this topic, though, like I want to. I mean, what about the feeling of being on the actual runway? Because like that
That's pretty cool.
that was first for me, and that was like a high that I never.
All
fe-
eyes are on you.
I never felt that before,
You know,
and it was actually, it was like not like was first of all I was nervous at first because it was my first time,
right.
but like when you get to the end and you see like about 50 flashes or 50 cameras and all these
Right.
flashes and you're like, oh shit, like that was my first time. Like no one told me like that's how it is. Like I
Yeah.
had to experience it as I was doing it.
It's nerve
But
wracking.
like that
honestly.
but like that was a crazy high.
It's a nice
like,
little adrenaline rush, right? Like,
Yeah.
What I was telling people, acting like I had so much experience, was just like, be the most confident that you could possibly be, and like that translates through your body
Right.
language. Like, and I bring that into life. Like, I remember I would be walking the streets somewhere, and I would just like, you know, have good posture and be walking like I was the shit, and like, you know, you feel like you are when you do that. I don't know how else to describe it. I feel
Somebody who sees you or sees
way you
somebody
carry.
walking down the street, like how you carry yourself, like it
Right.
kind of like you could feel their
the
energy.
way you carry.
You could, yeah, the way you carry it. Yeah,
Exactly.
it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
I know.
It's yeah, you can
It's
tell if somebody's walking around like with their head up high, like they're
Yeah.
not looking down, they're not like slouched, good posture, like you said. You kind of tell just somebody's just built a little different, whether it's mentally or
Right.
what have you. But yeah, the runway is probably something serious. I mean, no matter how many people are even in there, you got all eyes are on you.
I had somebody actually after one of the days we did the Philly Fashion Week, they came up to me and said something about the way I was walking. Cause I wasn't walking like the McGregor walk, but I was putting a little swagger
Little
into
pep
it.
in the step.
But I just thought it was funny because I had been instructed previously like not to like swing your arms so much and
Yeah.
like kind of keep a straight like
Mhm.
posture. And I was like, nah, I got this. I'm gonna do my
Yeah.
own thing because like I want it to be like that's the way I'm doing it. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah, there was
overall like
strict-
really enjoyed doing that. I really did. And it's cool. It's
Who knows?
nerve wracking and it's like a different kind of adrenaline rush that you receive from it. So
Yeah.
Sometimes you need those like nerve wracking feelings.
Yeah, I think I
I
grew.
feel like you need that
think
shit.
that- I
yeah,
think
it'd be
grew a
forced to be
little bit as a
uncomfortable a
person.
little bit, and then it
Throwing
brings you out of your shell and
Yeah.
you grow from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk some music, bro. Let's get into
Alright,
music a little
music.
bit. I mean, I was looking at your Spotify. I saw that you got a track, Marbles.
Yeah,
and I
just
also
dropped.
just dropped it
I
this
just
month.
dropped the other day. My first single under the rebrand called "Sleeping on Me" came out like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
So
song that I like a lot. I listened
Thank
to
you.
both of them, and
I
I
appreciate
saw
man.
that came out in September, I
Yeah.
believe.
That makes me really happy. I don't know, every time I hear it.
We were
man,
listening in the
honestly.
car.
Yeah,
and
Sleeping
or-
on Me's good. I like that.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Music is. I've always dreamed of making music, and like I don't know, like you ever just like have those daydreams when you were younger, and you're like, mine was like being on stage in front of a bunch of people,
Mhm.
and like having them love whatever I was
Right.
singing.
Putting out. Yeah.
I never touched music. I remember my friends in college would make music,
Mm-hmm.
just fuck around stuff, and I would just be like, "That's cool that you guys can do that. I wish I could do that." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which comes to the second point. Like, I'm so sick of telling myself that I can't do things. Like, I'm really just so over it.
Yeah.
I'm about to turn 26 next month, and I don't want to be one of those people that like has those regrets of like wishing I didn't do something. I think that's shot, and that's on you. You know what I mean?
Right. You can literally do anything.
I don't
right
care
now.
what it is. I'm gonna try it at least, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna do 100%, 110%. If it
Yeah.
doesn't work out, then at least I tried.
Imagine
peace of
being
mind.
like 60, 70, 80 years old and just wondering what it's like
Yeah.
if you would have done that in your 20s, 30s. I'd
Yeah.
rather like literally
I would
something
eat me
just
alive,
not
man.
work out.
I'd be
would
trying to
right.
do it when I was that old. Then
I would be, I would be
We
going
have so
crazy.
many tools nowadays to like help us, like even if you don't know, like to get you to know. Like
Mhm.
YouTube, for instance, is like the crazy
Insane.
learning hub, of tutorials and stuff, and for all kinds of things. You know what I mean?
I use
like,
YouTube for everything.
yeah,
Everything that we do here. Like I didn't go to school for this. We're just saying we learn as we go. We're
You know
putting
what I
out
mean?
pieces
Like,
of
it's just-
content, and you
I
get better.
think for me it was insecurity about what other people would think about me trying to do. I felt the same way about
Okay,
modeling.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
that's
Like
gonna happen.
I was like, yeah, these people that all know me for this, or that are gonna look at me like, what's this dude think he's doing? Like this dude thinks he's this, he thinks he's that, which is so dumb. Like
That's
it's
a
in my
thought.
own
That's a
head.
yeah,
thought.
yeah, it's in
You know
your
what I mean?
head.
A
And
lot
even
of my own problems stem from
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to just abandon that. You
And
know,
truthfully, there are people out there who do fucking
Fuck
think
'em.
that about you, and yeah, fuck
I've been
'em.
cursing on here a lot. Is that cool?
That's-
Yeah, all right,
good.
man. It's all good.
Fuck.
But seriously though, like you could be your own worst enemy at
No,
times.
of course.
You know.
I've definitely was mine when I started, doing stuff.
Still, I
doing
mean,
music.
It's not, I feel like you can almost like not help
Yeah.
but feel that way. You know what I mean
Yeah.
about anything, and that kept me from doing a lot of things that I was interested in that I found out I was extremely passionate about, and that's a shame to let your insecurities about what other people think about
Yeah.
you doing something that you're interested in doing
Mhm.
dictate what you actually do with your life.
Yeah.
And
Closed minds don't open closed doors.
Right.
exactly,
You're better off actually just putting a bunch of stuff out. And even though it might not be like up to par, eventually by you doing so much of it, you're going to wind up getting better. So instead of like worrying about making like a track like perfect,
The
or
perfect
whatever,
song.
you're just delaying your own ability to grow and actually get better in it by doing that. And that was my problem. I would sit on things because I was too
You would
worried
critique
that
yourself
other
a
people
lot.
think that it's not good enough. And what that did was hurt me
Mhm.
because I stopped putting stuff out and I stopped making stuff. So, but the more you make it, the better I'm starting to get. And now I can already see like a progression in my
Right.
own, you know what I mean? Just because I'm working on it more now and constantly.
for sure. Couldn't
So
agree
that, I
more.
mean, if there's any advice I can give to you on that,
No,
that
I
was,
appreciate
that's
that.
It, you know
Like
what
I
mean?
couldn't agree more.
Just don't stop,
Music for me, I had a friend. I still have a friend. His name's Wesley Waits. Shout out to you, Wes. probably the number one reason why I have anything to do with music. He produces a lot of my songs, and it started. We used to just hang out. I got sober for a while. I was sober for like 10 months, and you realize that when you're kind of not going out and drinking or smoking, whatever you're doing, you have far less people to hang out with because like that's like something a lot of people just do like together. You know what I mean? So shout out to US because he's my one friend. I was like, what could I do to hang out with somebody that's not like getting bent or like going out?
Yeah.
And he was like constantly cooking and making music, and I
Yeah.
was like, like I want to come over and like watch you do it or something, or like maybe like hop on a beat jokingly, and then
Yeah.
we made like 6 or 7 songs.
I was gonna say the production sounds clean.
He's
I
crazy.
didn't know if you produce yourself or.
I'm trying to. That's like the next step for me. So, full disclosure, like I'm very new to like being a musician. I have so much to learn. I love surrounding myself with other musicians because I can learn from them.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get into like actually doing all the actual behind the scenes stuff, like in-house stuff, like producing, mixing, mastering, all that. I have some really good people that are around me that can show me.
That can show you that way.
So
Yeah.
and I also think that would be really cool to be able to like completely create my
Yeah.
own music.
Fucking right, dude. It's
In
good.
good time. It's definitely a goal of mine.
Yeah. It's good that you're open to that too. Like,
Oh,
you're,
yeah,
that
for
you're
sure.
willing and wanting to get to that point because people gotta be Swiss Army
Right.
knives. They have to have a lot in their arsenal. It's why just be strictly like a singer or like a vocalist or an artist when you can do different things.
Yeah.
I mean, music is everything.
Yeah, you never want to rely on somebody else. Like I know it could be in the beginning you'll have to, but make sure that that's temporary because you never know what that other person.
But
is
it's
gonna
also
wind
good.
up.
It's not like relying too. Like it's good though. Like you could really you could make something crazy, like really good,
Right.
when you collab with some people.
Of course.
know?
Well, I mean, like as far as like
But
wanting
as
to
far as-
master your own song, like okay, it's good to be able to learn how to do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's something still I'm trying to make myself better at instead of using somebody else.
I
you
know it's gonna take some time, and I know it's gonna take a lot of me like being serious about it and like buckling down and like watching these YouTube videos and like spending time trying to learn the craft.
repetition, man. Just
And I'm excited for that. Honestly, God, like I think that's something that I could really put a lot of my free time into,
Mhm.
and like eventually get maybe years from now, who knows,
Mhm.
be able to like do it well, and then I can make music that's completely already in my head, and I can actually make it a real thing.
right.
But for now, I have a couple producers that I've been working with. Wesley Waits, Danny Camp. They're great. They're awesome. They've helped me out tremendously in the last couple of months. And on my side, I just always love singing. Like
Okay.
I like singing. I write a lot, like poetry. I've written poetry and stuff. Just like whatever
In your thoughts.
anxiety I have going on in my head, I try
Yeah.
to translate it to poetry that essentially turns into verses
Music,
and
yeah.
hooks and stuff like that. But
How do you feel when you're doing that? Like at the time, like when you're putting something to paper, writing lyrics, writing poetry.
it makes me feel better, honestly.
It's like a release.
It's nice to be able to get it off my chest and I
Mhm.
want to get it out of my head, but full circle when it comes into like writing a song, like a lot of my music is not exactly happy music if you listen to the lyrics, and I have a couple of songs I'm working on now, but it's not because I'm trying to tell people, oh, be sad, like be that sad boy
It's
type.
just your experiences.
Yeah, I deal with a lot of that stuff,
It's-
and like
it's-
for me, then the best way to deal with it is to write it down and then turn it into something that I hope somebody else can either listen to and relate to,
Mhm.
or like, because the worst feeling alone, worst feeling in the world is to like feel alone,
Right.
especially in feeling that kind of like depressed, anxiety ridden type of
Yeah.
mindset. And I
You're
just
talking about real things that people could relate to.
yeah, man, like that's what I deal with. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and like make music about driving fancy cars and making hella money.
Yeah,
At least not at this point. It's like that's not real to me. You know what I mean?
right.
I'm like really into making music about addiction, mental health issues, heartbreak. Like
Stuff that real fucking humans
Yeah,
go
go
through.
exactly. And like I think that
Yeah.
that's like you could write about having.
You could write about the
You
the
could write about having
clubs and all
racks
that
and
shit, and look,
Yeah.
all
that's
that.
movies. That's like I look at that as like a movie, right? It's just it's like it's like an escape.
Yeah.
It's like that escape to reality. Like
Mhm.
I don't know, but then at the same time, it's like, how much can you really listen to that shit? You're fucking filling your head with all that shit all the time too,
Right.
and it's like you need to really just tap into you. And it's good that you speak about stuff that goes on in your life.
Yeah, man, and it's been constant. It's like always been there. I think it's funny because I've had people approach me that I haven't met in real life, and then I meet them from like we networked on social media or something, and I finally meet them in person. And, you know, when I get deep with them and I'm like, yeah, I deal with these kind of things in my head, they're like, yo, we would have never thought that just because of how you present yourself or how you look here, look there. And it's like, that's funny to me. Like, you can stand behind this whole curtain that is
Right.
your social media and like
It's like you mask
show
it.
whatever's good about your life. And
You
then like
mask it well. Yeah.
you're posting a picture of you from last summer where you're chilling on the beach, holding a beer, loving life, and you're sitting in your room fucking miserable. You know,
Mhm.
like nobody can sell that. So this music gives me a really like awesome opportunity to show that side of myself, you
Mhm.
know, and the best part about it is like I don't want to. It's not something I'm bragging about, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like real to like what I felt. Like
Yeah.
Marlboro's is that whole song is about suicide. Like it's about like basically dealing with these issues with addiction that I had and like being like I don't really fucking I'm gonna sell my soul for a pack of Marlboros because I care less what else it goes to.
Yeah.
And like those are like tough things to talk about. I've fortunately had a lot of experience with talking to people about it, and like I'm very transparent about that kind of stuff. And I think that it's a downer. Like people don't want to talk about it. When you make music about it, though, it makes it easier to express your story.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get it out.
Yeah, so I want to continue making music like that. Obviously, I don't want to be put in that box of just making really like depressing sad boy music.
I
But
get, yeah. From the Marble song, I could definitely see what you're talking about. The other song, "Sleeping on Me,"
yeah,
is that the title?
that's less sad. But
Yeah, definitely a different vibe.
Mhm.
I call it like Juice World vibes
yeah, I appreciate that. That's really
from
cool.
your music, and
yeah.
you know, Juice World
Yeah.
was a great talent.
Mhm.
R.I.P. to Juice, but
Mhm.
I give you guys credit. Anybody who makes music, you know, you put yourself under, you know, a magnifying glass to be, you know, critiqued and judged, and you know, fuck all that, dude. Like whatever feels good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you're talking about anything in life, you know. So
Yeah.
salute to all the artists out
I,
there.
I want to know
Mhm.
why'd you come up with not yours music?
Okay.
Not yours.
So I was Liam Bergen on Instagram. It was mainly I was doing all that modeling stuff and like really dedicated my whole life to it. And then COVID happened, and you know everybody like it fucked up a lot of things that people were trying to do
Mhm.
for themselves, and it derailed everything that I was doing. And I did not take it the best, honestly. I didn't cope with that in healthy ways, and like I did nothing for like two months, dude. Just like
Let days go.
you know, I was just like, you know, like not taking care of myself. Gyms weren't open. I could have been
Yeah.
exercising. You know what I mean? Just like everything
In
that
the
I was
rut.
doing to keep me like running like a machine, like I was just not doing it.
Yeah.
And like I just lost sight of like what is my goal of like life? Like what am I trying to do here? And I started linking up with people I was making music with. I wasn't making music for a while either. And I was like, you know, I want to put this new music out, but I don't know if I want it to be released under Liam Bergen. I have another Spotify page called Liam Bergen, and it was all the first songs that I made. But I was like, I kind of would like to rebrand to something a little bit different. I think I'm going to change my look up and just like make it less focused on taking pictures and stuff and more about like the actual music. So it gave me kind of not like a mask to stand behind, but like it's because I feel that Not Yours is more true to me than Liam Bergen was, which is sounds
Right.
crazy, you know what I mean? But
It's like an alias. It's like
Exactly.
another-
So you were reborn. So
exactly,
rebirth.
and it's kind of like it's been really exciting. You know, I honestly I think there's a lot of people that were following me for like the modeling pictures that might be a little bit upset about the fact that I don't post that kind of stuff anymore. But
It's your page.
it's my page. I'm doing my page. I'm doing what I
It's
want.
your
out.
face.
But yeah, it's been a strange transition, but it's been really cool to be able to like almost like it's transformative. You know, I get to
It's
be,
development. It's you watch like a fucking TV show or like a series, and you see characters develop like over the
Yeah.
seasons, like over the times. Like this is your new season. This
Yeah.
is development for you. This
Nah,
is
it's
you.
a really good way to put
This
it.
is
Yeah.
you know, really finding in another layer
It's
and
the next
another
chapter.
version.
The
So-
next chapter.
Yeah.
And it feels good.
Yeah.
I'm really like I've been excited about it. I had a couple conversations about like, you know, should I start a whole new profile or should I try to take advantage of the one that I've already built?
Mhm.
And you know, it came down to if you don't like what I'm doing, then don't.
It's
Why are
you.
you following my shit in the
Right.
first place? I don't care. It's not that deep.
You don't want people to follow you.
No, and
That
you know,
for not you.
for so long, like I feel like a lot of people deal with this, like especially with social media. Like it's not real. Like what you're doing is real, and what you post about is as real as you make it seem. But like
Mhm.
that stuff doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Like do what you want to do, and don't do it because you're worried what people in there are gonna think of
Yeah.
you. And that's something it took me. It was a big mountain for me to try to climb. You know, like I was just constantly trying to do what I thought would like make other people
Get likes
like
or
me or some
please,
shit. I don't
yeah,
know.
pleasing
Right.
people that you shouldn't even give a fuck
No,
about.
man.
Maybe we live in a social media driven world. Girls and guys like care for likes. They care why people unfollow them. Um, they don't support people. Some of them do. It's they care about the content that they put out too much. Like you said, it's just Instagram. At the end of the day, if you just dumb it down to just that, it's just social media. We all had MySpace, we had Facebook, we had Instagram. You go through different eras, but I think if you utilize it right for business or
Be a really,
music
really
or art,
powerful, great
it could
thing, and
be
I think it brings people together. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean to say it's a bad thing completely by any
no, it's
means.
toxic as fuck. I mean, dude,
But
there's a lot of
yeah,
toxic shit going on Instagram
yeah.
and stuff. I
But
mean,
it's also a really
a
yeah,
tool. It
yeah.
could be a good tool as well. No, listen, it's like the gift and the curse. It's
It
just how
depends
you fucking use
on
it,
how you
bro.
utilize it. Exactly.
Like you said earlier. I mean,
I've been on both sides of it as well, and
there's chicks out there who are sad as fuck about their
Yeah.
life, right? But they'll fucking post a selfie or whatever. They do themselves up at their house
Mhm.
because they
Then
want to
they,
get the
then they
likes.
slap the filter on top.
And then they see the likes coming in and their shit's blowing up and they feel good about themselves. But inside, deep down, they're like, it's just like a hole in them. Like there's something.
I just watched that Social Dilemma.
I didn't see that yet.
Netflix.
Nah, I
You
haven't
should
seen it.
watch it. I'm not gonna say much about it, but it's very interesting how they kind of approach that.
Mhm.
But yeah, and like that comes back to mental health. Like uh, over quarantine, I realized my screen time was ridiculous. I
Being
spent
on your phone.
yeah, I was
Mm,
spending
When
so
you-
much time
right
on
on.
Instagram, and like I don't even mean to say this to sound like an asshole, but I was like getting so sick of looking at other people like pretending they were doing stuff, like posting like old photos or doing home workouts, whatever.
Mhm.
And this is mainly because I was not happy
happy
with my
by
life.
yourself or whatever.
Yeah, so I I didn't at the time didn't realize it, but it just like I was like I don't even want to be on this app ever again. And I was still posting like pictures I had taken months before just to stay in like the algorithm or whatever. And I'd be like, this is so weird, like that I have to feel the need to post this shirtless
Yeah.
picture of myself from 6 weeks
I think
ago
I was going through something similar
where
too.
I'm not even doing that. And yeah, it was a very.
I archived like all my pics and like got off it for a minute.
I ended up doing the same thing.
Yeah, it kind of hit me too during quarantine. Like, what am I doing? Like, I kind of feel like in a way, it's like you got to keep up. So I
Yeah,
felt like I
it's
had to
weird.
keep up so I didn't fall off.
It's like a natural reaction.
It
Sometimes
was like,
people
but
just
why
pick
do I
up.
have to feel like that?
Yeah.
You shouldn't. And like, I'll tell you one thing, when I deleted all my socials, I try to do it like, I don't know if it's like a mental breakdown thing, but like every 6 months or so, I end up doing it for like a week or two. And you'll be chilling, right? And then you'll like maybe think about checking one of them. You'll be like, oh, it's not even there. It's like, I don't know. You either feel like, oh, I wish it was, or you feel like, wow, I don't have to worry about it even being there.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
It's a
And that kind of put it into perspective for me. I was like, wow, this is like such an unnecessary stress. And it shouldn't be, you know what I mean? It should be recreational, but so much deeper than that, unfortunately.
It's like a natural reaction when you're on your phone and you just open up your phone to check Instagram or to
Yeah.
check, whatever platform. or
First thing in
app.
the morning, waking up, checking it, like,
Going to bed.
shouldn't be like
just
that.
like on your phone, you can't sleep, so you're just scrolling, and the next thing you know, an hour goes by, you should have been fucking sleeping.
Should have been in bed.
hmm
Too many nights like
There's weekends where I go through like a time where I just want to like go on a trip or just go away for like a weekend and just leave my phone. Like, home.
Yeah.
Just leave my phone at the house.
that. Or just grab a flip phone or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
I
that
thought
doesn't-
about
It
that.
doesn't have any of that on there,
I
man.
thought about
Yeah.
that, grabbing a second phone and just like I can leave the one at the crib. You know
That
what I
way,
mean?
if you really
just
need
take the
somebody,
flip
you're
out.
going to text them or call them. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people don't even do that anymore. They're just so reliant on like messages through all these apps, which is so strange because it's like, I don't even know how many people really have my actual phone number that would actually hit me up on my phone.
Yeah.
Instagram's weird as fuck, yo. Now that like we're talking about, I wasn't even like planning on talking about this, and I love like the flow of this conversation, but it really is weird as fuck, dude. I go through times where I like see people's stories or whether it's a guy or a girl, and I'm just like, we get it. Like how many times are you
Yeah,
gonna
I
post
do
the same
thing.
the same shit, right? It's like
Right,
it's like
yeah.
redundant almost. Or like then I go through like times where like I'll see people in the hospital, right, and they'll post like a picture of their wristband in the hospital or them laying up in a hospital bed. And I'm like, I'm very confused about that. I'm very confused why you're posting a picture being in the hospital. Are you doing it for sympathy? Do you want the attention? Like, is something really seriously wrong? Like what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just concerned, like, why
So
people
weird.
do that. Like, you're using, like, something that could very well be wrong with you and your health or something as, like, a way for people to
Yeah.
reach you or
Clickbait.
engage, like almost
Yeah.
like a clickbait. Yeah, it's
Such a weird.
a lot of
Yeah.
toxic shit happens, and honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, like I'm probably going to clean up like a lot of my followers and a lot of
I did that
people.
not too long
Yeah.
ago, but
You
I
know,
Yeah.
deleted so many people that Instagram blocked me from doing anything on there for like almost a week. It was so strange.
Yeah, you can only
Yeah.
like unfollow like 50 people an hour or something.
I really I was doing that.
I
But,
just did some cleanup myself.
What
so-
I've been trying to use my Instagram for recently is definitely to push my music.
Mhm.
I started a merchandise shop for the Not Yours brand. Essentially, I want it to be more than just about Not Yours music. I want it to be
a full brand.
yeah.
The
I really
logo
want
is
to build
sick.
it.
I think the logo looks good on merch, on
Thank you very
hats.
much.
I
Mhm.
saw, I think it's your girlfriend wearing like
Yeah, it's my shorty.
a beanie or whatever,
Yeah.
or a little skull cap.
Mhm.
I think it looks sick on that. You know, you're wearing a hoodie right now. I think
Yeah,
it
I got
looks
one
real
on.
clean. It's like a barbed wire, like a
Yeah.
barbed wire heart. You know, it's different shit. I like it a lot.
like
Yeah, I
it.
made that one myself. I made a whole bunch of them. I've been, I'll buy samples of stuff, and then I've been trying to get into like I used to shoot 5 times a week, and now I can barely like get myself a shoot to shoot my own
Yeah.
merch. But I'm trying to get a shoot together, just so I can put some stuff on the website. Basically, I'm not really expecting a lot of people to buy this stuff, but I think it's a cool start. I enjoy it.
Mhm.
Like I've always been into clothing design and like
Fashion, sure.
fashion in its completeness. But I just think it's cool to have as like another facet of Not Yours as a brand. And I wanted to expand into a whole bunch of stuff like this. I don't know if people will see this, but
Mhm.
this vest I'm wearing, I just made it. Like I made it in like 25 minutes. It's got Not Yours painted on the back.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's dope.
Yeah.
Just a custom piece I made. I enjoy doing it. You know what I mean?
And
It's
it's
got,
your
like,
shit. Don't it feel good rocking your own shit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
else has
it's
that.
custom. I put
You know
like
what I mean?
like 40 minutes of effort into it. And,
Yeah.
like drew the barbed wire on.
Yeah.
It says "Cheer the fuck up" on it, which is like one of my like slogans essentially, which is kind of ironic actually. It's like telling people that are sad like just cheer the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
come on, it's not that bad. And then meanwhile I'm like, yeah, but it's so much deeper.
It's
than that.
Liam. It's Liam
Yeah.
talking to Not Yours.
It's me in my own head. It's that conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to try to do more custom pieces as
Sure.
well. I just think like that kind of stuff from what I've seen, people sell their custom one-of-one pieces for like crazy amounts of money.
Yeah.
Like not that it's really about that, but I just like think it would be cool, especially when I'm rocking it myself.
Right.
Kane Kerner, you remember Kane from Philly Fashion Week? Real long hair. He also makes music.
Yes. That's who I thought you were talking about when you were mentioning Wes. I was going to ask, did you mean the guy
No,
with the long
I've
hair?
also made it. Me and Kane and my friend Danny all made a song.
Yeah.
Recently. Hopefully that
He's
comes
got
out
a
soon.
unique look too.
Yeah,
he
he's
seemed like a
crazy.
veteran.
He made this little choker necklace.
Okay.
A lot of his style. He like custom paints a lot of clothes and like sews his own clothes and stuff. I bought a bunch from him. Just artists supporting other artists kind of stuff.
Right.
Like he inspired me with that stuff because he has Stay Sharp Studios, which is like basically all the stuff that he custom makes himself. And this dude's a crazy musician as well.
Yeah, I
Like,
saw one of his videos.
he's
Shout out
wild.
to Kane, dude.
Yeah, he kills it, man.
he
Like
does
I
some
hope he's
pretty-
watching this.
Some pretty creative stuff.
Yeah, man, like that kid's going somewhere. And just like I said earlier, surrounding myself with these other musicians and people that are like-minded and have kind of similar goals, it just, number one, it drives me to want to be better. It makes me want to learn more. And it makes me want to like continue to meet people that are doing the same thing. Because like I said, I'm down here, like I'm just really getting started and I'm trying to learn more and I'm trying to put out more music and then I'm trying to network with these people and have features and
Yeah.
I want to shoot some more videos. I actually have one music video out. Not a lot of people probably know about it. It's called Shadows. It's when my rap name was, or my artist name was just Liam Bergen.
Mhm.
With my friend Wes.
Uh,
My friend Austin shot that. We did it in Baltimore. It's a really, really awesome video. It's produced awesome.
Yeah.
It's just he did such a great job. But that's in my profile. If you go into my link tree, it's in there.
and you're singing on that, and he raps.
Yeah,
or-
we're both singing kind of back. It's a very interesting song.
Mhm.
It's kind of got like a EDM kind of vibe to it as well. It's got a drop.
Mhm.
But that video looks really clean. So I want to do some more visuals and stuff like that. I think that's so key to getting people to tune into your music.
Yeah.
Personally, like if I see a video, I'll watch it just because I'm
They hit
Yeah,
intrigued.
Rob was just talking about this topic on videos, just in general, when it comes to anything that you're doing. Seems like it's more engaging. People
Always.
people going to tune in more when, especially if they see your face.
Yeah,
talking, right?
I'm really trying to move heavy for the rest of this year and moving forward. So video heavy content. Even if it's like a typical Instagram story post that you could put out through, just a couple sentences. You could type it, with font. Something about, when I'm scrolling through, I might just click, 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 and just keep skipping people's shit. But
Right.
when you have a video up, I'll probably 9 times out of 10 stop and stay to see like what the fuck you sound like,
I think
what
it's
you're talking
anybody in
about.
general. Our attention spans are so
It's more engaged. I feel like,
like if I see a video, I'm saying right now, anybody, I don't care who it is, and it looks like a music video, I'm gonna sit and watch it just because you can draw. Number one, if it's good, you draw inspiration from it.
mhm,
Yeah.
But number two, it's like I appreciate how much effort really goes into like making
Yeah.
something like that, and the amount of people that are probably gonna still overlook it, and knowing the amount of effort that probably went into it in the first place, I just think it's owed that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
And also anybody could put the audio out, but
yeah,
when you
for
put
sure.
the visual out, you make a little video or make like a story or a piece of content, people aren't always comfortable doing that. And that's just you getting outside of your comfort zone. And I think it's a good way to engage with people, followers,
For sure.
listeners, stuff like
Mhm.
that.
It's essential. And like a big part of the rebrand was like I initially like dyed my hair a different color. Which I've always wanted to do. It's one of those things I always wanted to do. I thought it was so cool that people did that, and I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah,
'cause
would you
I'm,
have like blue or
I'm gonna
something
get
before?
clowned. Yeah. Yeah, it was like ice blue, but it was
Mhm.
almost like gray looking. I had cornrows too.
Yeah.
It was insane. But it was just like, just doing these little things, as simple and stupid as they sound, like dyeing my hair.
This is
like,
you as a person. You
Yeah.
try shit. You try different
I'm
things,
down
and
for it,
you experience different things, and that's good. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't do fucking anything or the bare fucking minimum.
Yeah.
At least it's fucking hair.
They
Like
don't leave
you
their
want to
bed
dye your
for
hair brown
It's gonna
next
grow back.
week,
Yeah.
it'll turn
Amen.
fucking brown
Yeah.
next week. Like
But that was a big part of it, like just like not only rebranding my name, whatever, for the artistry, but like changing my look up however I wanted to. And it's cool because I want to throw this look in front of the camera and get the visuals for that because I don't look like every other person walking down the street, and I think that'll draw people into the video, which will draw people into the music. It's
Mhm.
kind of just like trying to get people engaged with the stuff that I'm putting out one way
Yeah.
or another.
now, I know you said in your previous you're putting out music under your other name, and now you're moving forward with not yours, but
Mhm.
you were coming off a relationship, you were in a different
Oh, yeah.
space, quarantine, stuff like that.
Ooh,
But
I
right
wanted to talk about
but
this
right
too.
now, you seem like you have a very solid person, a very solid woman in your life who
I
supports
do.
what you have going on.
It's my shorty. Shout out Adora.
Just kind of talk about the importance of having a woman who supports your craft,
Yo,
man.
honestly, no girl that I've ever dated before ever gave any sort of shit about me creatively. Like I was, matter of fact, told like that's stupid. My first songs were about a girl who we broke up, and I wrote these songs about her, and I was like, yo, like you should check these out. Like
Mhm.
I made these songs, like it's kind of me being a little bit of a dickhead, but my ex-girlfriend, beside the fact, my ex-girlfriend didn't even know I made music. And then when I told her about it, and because she hated the fact that I modeled or whatever. She thought it was like, you just love the attention, blah, blah. Which at first I kind of did, but I didn't see why it was an issue.
Mhm.
But then she knew I made music, and I asked her if she ever listened to any of it, and she said no. I was like, first of all, like I
Wow.
don't care if it's the wackest music you ever heard. At least check it out. Like I
Mhm.
put time and effort, and like I'm clearly passionate enough about it to
If
like.
you're my if you're my friend, let alone if you're my significant other, I don't care if the stuff that you're putting out is garbage. I'm gonna fucking promote that shit and rep it like it's the fucking most elite stuff that you could
I
have
couldn't
out
agree
there.
more. I couldn't agree more, and I think that was something I lacked, which made me completely disinterested in dating the whole time I was like trying to do this from the start. Because I was like, I already got so much on my plate. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna try to have to convince somebody else that the dreams I'm chasing are validated for me to be chasing.
Yeah.
But Adora, she's great. She's been loving my music since I started putting it out, like well over a year ago. She's always been supportive of it, even before we started really like
Yeah.
seeing each other. And
That does something to you, like, I'm sure. Like that probably
that
makes you want to like create
it,
more,
I
or like fucking sparks more of a fire in you,
I
man.
gravitated towards her for that. I actually wrote her a whole song. I'm still working on it. I want to give her that back. She deserves it more than any other female I've ever met. But to have somebody who believes in you, like the way that you believe in yourself, I don't know. Words can't really describe that. Honestly, it's just like, and especially after being with females that just like didn't support it and like made me feel alienated from my ambitions and my dreams and my passions because they didn't think it was the right path.
Right.
Because And that hurts a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
That hurts to, like, quote unquote, love somebody or feel that way about them to that extent. And then, like, they can't even, like, give you the time of day about that kind of stuff that you care about. And
Yeah.
I think it derails a lot of people, you know,
Yeah.
because
Sure.
say you want to start doing this stuff and you're with somebody, your significant other is like, nah, that's dumb. You'll never make it. You're probably not going to do it.
Because you want to make it work
Right.
with your significant
Yeah,
other.
you're probably not going to do
You're
it.
like,
And that's a
Yeah.
shame.
it's real shit.
It is.
It's a
real
shame.
shit.
I think it also comes from a place of insecurity from that significant other worrying that maybe it will work out for you and then you're gone. But
Yeah.
It's hard, man. I feel like people, especially if like you're, a good-looking guy or a good-looking girl, and in a relationship together, I feel like things could be competitive almost
Yeah.
without even
Mhm.
trying to like, admit that it is or like think that it is. Like you don't want to think that you're in but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah, like what if you like
Fuck.
you said, it's like an insecurity thing, probably. With like you go out and you're probably gonna have a lot of females coming after you, and does your girl want all these females coming after you when you're a
they
big,
should know that if
rock
I'm with
star?
them, I'm just down for them. I won't be with them if I
Yeah.
wasn't just down for them. That's just how I am, though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and if you don't know that about me after like spending the amount of time someone who dates me does,
Yeah,
then you don't know me, and then maybe it's not meant to be from
Boom.
the start. You know what I mean?
exactly.
You got to stand in confidence with me. That's very attractive. Like, if I'm with you, it's for a reason. Obviously, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? I didn't just like randomly one day be like, oh, we should date for no reason. Like, it's for a reason, and like, especially like the way she's supportive with me, like she already knows. Like, that means the world to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially because there's very few people. Honestly, there's very few people. I got my main homies that are all supportive, obviously, but I haven't been feeling a lot of love from a lot of people about it. And not saying that discourages me at all, but it makes me appreciate the people that have got me from the start. Like those day one supporters. Remember them forever. They'll be on stage with me, VIP, whatever. However this journey takes me. But those people will always be very close with me in my heart and my mind. Like I
Yeah.
remember those people.
I love the support from day one. We call it like the home team. That's what we've been
Mhm.
calling everybody. Even if you're a stranger, but you're a creative, you support me, we support each other. It's just like the home team. We're all winning together, right? But it's something about a stranger or somebody that you don't really know that well supporting your craft or your
Yeah.
brand or buying your clothes that you don't fucking
Yeah.
know. That shit is a whole
That
different
hits
feeling.
different.
That's so genuine though. Like that's like
Dude,
somebody really
I
who
know.
has no other intentions besides literally meaning that they fuck with your stuff. Like that's so cool.
Yo, it's shout out to Don Falcone on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
But this guy, we don't even know him that well, right? But he's cool people and he supports us and what we do. And we're so new at this. We're not even at a year with Talk to Me Nice with the brand that we're creating. And he has the logo tattooed on his arm.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of tight that I don't have.
Right.
I'm not the
Man, I
first
copped
person.
this Not Yours logo before me.
Yeah, man. Like I wasn't the first person with this ink, but yeah, man. He hit us up the one day and was just like, "Yo, I love your logo. I think it's dope." And I was wondering if
It
you
is
just
really
cared,
dope logo.
if you appreciate it, man.
Of course.
But,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
He's just wondering if we cared about, if
Getting
you got a
into-
tattoo on him. I'm
I'm
like,
like, fuck yeah,
yeah,
dude.
bro.
Get
Go
it.
run with it. Like, yeah. And then 3
That's
weeks
wild.
later, I'm like, wow, like he fucking
Really
actually
did it.
Yeah.
did it, dude. It says like the whole thing. Not even
I've seen that. I've seen pictures.
I was like,
of it.
well, like how could I ever fucking stop with what we're doing after I see people
Yeah, right, you're
after I
always
see
over there.
people
Like,
who
I
are
call-
fucking
yeah.
for life
I love
with
that.
that on them. I'm
Like,
like,
Love that.
I usually call those like little wins, but like that's kind of big. You
It's
know what I
huge.
mean? A tattoo already like this early in the game, like
Huge.
you see that with like Joe Rogan podcasts and stuff. But like
That's insane.
nah,
this
that's
is
huge.
early.
That's huge.
so
I
that's
mean,
a kind of a huge win in this case, I think.
it's something about just like I said, like people who you're not even, that you talk to on a day to day, like text, because like you expect that from those people, like your homies,
Yeah.
your friends, your day ones.
Right.
You already expect the support and the love from them. But when you got these motherfuckers who, there's people out there just, repping and just
Yeah.
showing love, like
That's
that's
awesome.
that's an amazing feeling.
No, it
I
really
feel
is.
like.
I had a dude pick one of my tracks up and put it in his mix show. It's like mix show 112. So he's been doing it for a while
Yeah.
over in Germany. And like, I just got this random tag. And like, all right, he's got like, maybe just a couple hundred followers. Nothing crazy. But like that just made me so
Yeah,
happy.
that's
like,
so cool, man.
In a different
you know
country.
what I mean? Like a different country. Like,
international listeners.
what made you do that? Where'd you get that? Like, oh, like, I reposted stuff, whatever. But like, that to me was like, wow,
Small
like, that's awesome. Little small wins
Like
that.
small win
like,
that make you want to keep going.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, you need that sometimes, you know.
I'm big. I'm big on stuff like that. I'm big on the whole support thing, bro. Like honestly, talk to me nice before we even began the brand, began making episodes. I was always somebody who tried showing love to people. It just felt natural to me.
Hmm.
Coming up in a social media in a world where things were kind of like, people weren't supporting one another. It was kind of like corny, or it was kind of like,
Yeah, I'll never get that.
you were
Yeah,
almost riding somebody because you complimented them on their jacket or
right.
their sneakers and stuff like. But you know what? Why not just be yourself? If that's how you're really feeling, just go about it. And
Better off putting that energy out there
yeah,
rather than
especially
being rude to people, man.
today's world,
Right.
like you need that energy out. There's a lot of fucked up shit going on, man. It's like people got to come together. I feel like more than ever, and
I
just
agree.
create, man. Like special shit happens when
Yep.
people come together and create.
Yeah, I've been really. I find as far as like hanging out with like creatives, artists, musicians, everybody's usually really really fast to show love. Like everybody's super cool, and it's not
Mhm.
really like a competitive type of thing. It's just like collaborative. Like people want to like create together, and like that to me is what makes me want to keep doing it and keep meeting people that are doing essentially the same
because
thing.
there's people, a lot of us out there. It's just a
Show
matter-
love, yeah,
it's
and
just a lot-
like that. Like I feel like the world always needs more of that, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
We
and-
might have other musicians on our podcast,
Mhm.
but there's not going to be another Liam. There's not going to be another Not Yours on our episode. You know what I'm saying? So like
rebrand again.
we're
come on.
doing one of one shit. So
Mhm.
yeah, man. Collaboration's huge to me and Cristiano too.
Yep.
Just about what we're moving forward with, bro. Because it's nothing else could be replicated. You got to like almost separate yourself. I mean, there's going to be so many people making music, podcasts, doing different things in your market. But what are you doing to separate yourself from those people?
Right.
How
I
are
actually, I get really down on myself for that sometimes, just because it's like I'm like my biggest critic by far. I think this is something I try to communicate to people, but I don't know if they quite understand it. Like I held myself back more than anybody else would ever hold me back, just because for every little victory I have this little voice in my head telling me like, yeah, well, you could have done more and done better. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of thing. It kind of makes it hard for me to feel accomplished, I guess.
you think it's like a satisfaction thing? Like, are you?
I think it's just like I haven't reached a point that I am satisfied with yet. You know, like I
Yeah.
haven't reached a point where I really felt like I did enough.
Mhm.
You know, and like it could be extremely unhealthy, but I know it keeps me
That
driven.
could actually be a very good thing at the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
time. So
It does keep me relatively driven, but
Mm-hmm.
it is nice every now and again. I have people check me and they're like, "Nah, bro, like
It's about the journey, dude.
you've done this and you've done that, and
Yeah.
why are you not like you
look at yourself
Yeah.
over the last
Yeah.
year. I mean, if you
Yeah.
really look at your past, 52 weeks, your past year, and see how far you came.
Yeah.
I mean,
People
it-
forget to do that.
the journey really is the
They
thing.
forget to
Yeah.
reflect and see what all the actual
far
little
you've came.
wins, some of the big wins.
You'll
but
end
like
up
they'll
with the
even-
whole world, and then you'll still be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's very important. It's gratitude too.
Yeah, you go
Um,
along with the hustle and bustle of like keep
If there was-
trying to move up.
If there was like an end win or an end game, like it wouldn't even be fun
Nah,
almost.
yeah,
You
it
know what I
won't.
mean?
Right.
Like, oh, like let me just get my millions, and then like no, like you're going to
I feel
continue
like
to
you
go.
should
you're
never
gonna-
be satisfied.
Yeah.
Should always want to just keep going, keep moving. How can you be better and better and better? You know what I mean? Russ says that. He'll never be satisfied. And he likes that. That's the fun of it. It's all about the journey.
Yeah.
You know?
I definitely get it. I just wish sometimes I gave myself a little bit more credit.
Right. Yeah.
But that being said,
That's growing. You're growing.
I'm
You know what I
learning.
mean?
Development. Yep.
Oh yeah.
But
What's up with tattoos, man? You fucking I'm
Um,
trying to catch up to you over there, bro.
so-
what we got going on, man?
What's the most recent one? I got my face. I got this little guy on my face done. I don't know if
Yeah.
you see it. It's like red and white ink. So many people that were upset about that, but I was like, you knew I wanted it. I've been talking about it
Yeah.
nonchalantly for a while.
I'm sitting through, I'm doing a whole leg sleeve right now.
How's that going?
It sucks. I have my left arm sleeved up. I got my whole chest, and I'm in the process.
How do you feel about your chest? I just got a big Medusa piece done.
I saw that. I like that.
That shit hurt.
Shit, the sternum and shit.
I
Well, you
wasn't
got
re-
yours in a little different
I
space. I
wasn't
mean,
ready, dog.
yours kind of
he
hits the
wasn't
stomach.
ready.
Yours kind of hits like the stomach
The
area.
stomach wasn't too bad. It's the sternum in the middle of the chest.
Sternum
I was
sucks.
sitting there. I sat through. My neck was 7 hours in one day.
Yeah.
That hurt.
gonna
Whatever.
say your
I
throat
was
hurt.
sitting there like tears in my eyes. Like,
Really?
just like sitting there like, why why do I do this? Is it worth it?
Yeah, nah, look, shout out to Chris Romolini and Forever Valentine out in South Philly, dope tattoo shop. And Chris, does all my shit. Chris is, I wouldn't trust anybody else.
Yes,
I just
sir.
feel so comfortable with him. He's a beast. And he was on our, podcast last season. People could check him out. But we did my chest in 2 sessions. I got a tiger. That was about like a 4 or 5 hour sitting. And then I came back and knocked out the roses around it.
Oh yeah.
It hurt. It definitely fucking hurt. I felt like the whole time I was sitting there, I was kind of like grabbing my pants, like clenched up,
holding on
like,
for dear life.
just fucking do it, man.
It can be really,
Just
it
fucking,
can be really exhausting. Like I remember my neck. The whole time I was trying to like clench to like not concentrate or whatever on the pain. By the end of that, dude, I was like, I don't even know if I can drive home. Like I'm so tired from sitting here in pain for all that time.
No,
But
man, yo, I don't know if you have any leg tattoos or anything like that, but
got one on my shin and on the back of my calf.
the back of your knee, I don't know how to explain that feeling. And
This is strange.
I would sit through my chest multiple times
300
over, then have to finish my leg right now. And it's a lot of sessions. Your legs is the biggest piece of your
Right.
body, so it's a project. I'm only about 3 sessions in, and I got a decent amount done for 3. I said probably like 5-hour sessions each time, but yo, it's the knee.
It's a big chunk of time, bro. 5 hours.
And I don't try taking breaks. Like I don't really take breaks.
Nah, you want that shit done?
I'm like, yo, once you get in your zone, bro, just fucking go.
Right.
Like we ain't taking breaks, just fucking
I'll
go.
tell you, my head was 11 hours total. So it's, shout out T-Rex Tats, my girl Tracy. 6 hours on the back and then 5 hours for the sides. That one I thought was gonna hurt like so much worse than it did.
Wasn't too bad.
It really wasn't. It was like honestly, I was like chilling at one point.
Chilling
Like
for-
she was doing the sides and I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
I knew what I was in for. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's probably one of my favorite ones, and the neck as well. Just because I don't see like hella people that have it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you gotta keep a fade. Like
I was gonna say I like the head tattoos because like you could grow your hair out almost and people have
it's gone.
no idea.
Give me like 2.5 weeks, you won't even know it's
And-
there.
and
My
you
hair
sh-
just grows out.
Yeah.
But
That throat had to suck though, bro.
yeah, that's Dylan Carr tattoo. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
He afterwards he's like, I'm never doing a full neck piece in one day ever again. And I was like, I understand completely because by the end of that 7 hours, like it looked sick and it was done. And I was like, thank God it's done. But I was like, that was like
That was
tough
crazy.
to
Like,
sit
the recovery, the
this
next
part up here, like under your
oh
chin.
man, the next day or so was probably like a fucking bitch.
Yeah, it's just like as long as you take care of it, and,
That's
clean
huge.
it.
Yeah.
Aquaphor, big Aquaphor guy, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to be completely covered, like everywhere. Like
Yeah.
I'll probably keep my face pretty much how it is,
Mhm.
but I want like just head to toe, just because I think it looks so cool. And
Yeah. Fuck it. It's you.
if you get a small enough one, I think your adrenaline kicks in for long enough, and it doesn't really hurt that bad. It's just those big pieces, man.
Was like your first tat ever? Was it like a little piece?
Yeah,
or-
it's like it says "Love Life" with a little EKG on both sides.
They been trying to stop the wave, but the wave don't stop. Whoa.
Yo, what's going on, Talk Nice Nation?
What's good?
And thank you for checking out today's episode.
Yeah, you know the vibes. Make sure you visit our website, ttmnbrand.com, where
Mhm.
you'll find all upcoming announcements, our latest clothing drops, and future events.
Yes, sir. And also, for anyone interested in collabs or potential sponsors, hit our email at ttmnbrand@gmail.com.
That's right.
Let's get it.
Show you what these really about. Whoa.